Okay guys, how's it going? Today we're talking about hand cannons in Destiny 2, more specifically hand cannons during Season 11 or Season of Arrivals. These is, the last season before guns are going to be sunset. Some of the best hand cannons in the game are going to be sunset and no longer viable in end game or top level content of the game. So it's sad, but you need to find a way to replace that. And that's what this video is going to be about, as well as maybe picking up any guns that you need to get before maybe locations change or are removed in Beyond Light in the next season. That's also, up in the air of if or how things are going to be returning. So I feel this is kind of like important things to know going forward. And since Season 11 isn't exactly jam-packed of new things to do, this is probably a good way to spend your time before the big DLC launch in the fall. If you enjoy this kind of video and you want to see more of this kind of content, like another video talking about pulse rifles or auto rifles or snipers, go ahead, leave a like on the video. That's a great indication that you enjoy it. Maybe even subscribe to the channel, as well as comment on this video which class of weapons you want to see next, because I was planning on doing it, but if I can do the weapon class that you guys are most interested in next, that's obviously the best thing that we can both do. I also stream over at twitch.tv/Nate_1GB. Here's my stream schedule. It's roughly 3 to 4 days a week. I'm mostly streaming Destiny. Sometimes I might stream for one day, stream a different game. But if you ever have any thoughts or want to talk about anything Destiny related, the stream is the absolute best place to go. It's a perfect forum to have open conversations like that. If you have any ideas or feedback, that's also a great place, as well as YouTube comments. And if you enjoy the streams, if you stick around, feel free to leave a follow on the channel. That's always appreciated. All right, guys, let's get into the video. All right, guys, so this is going to be Ancient Gospel, the legendary hand cannon from the Garden of Salvation raid that came out with Shadowkeep. So if you have Shadowkeep and you're a new player, you're probably doing the raid, or you plan on doing the raid, because it's a great way to level up and get gear, and all the gear from the raid is going to be useful for many seasons to come, so it's valuable time spent to farm for that. Ancient Gospel is the energy hand cannon. It's solar. It's 140 rounds per minute. It's, in my eyes, a good PvE weapon, not so good for PvP. The perks you get on it, you can get some good combinations here, something like Outlaw Swashbuckler or Outlaw Kill Clip, even Dragonfly. There's Rapid Hit, which is okay. It's not, the best. You normally rule of thumb is you want a reload perk in the third column and a damage perk in the fourth column. Rapid Hit isn't great for a hand cannon. There's Slide Shot, which is pretty good. That's more of a PvP hand cannon, so you do that with a rangefinder, and if you really want to use it in PvP, you can do it that way. If not, I'd say go for an Outlaw Swashbuckler or Outlaw Kill Clip perk combo, and that's going to be pretty good for PvE. Alright, moving on to the next gun. It's going to be Dire Promise, basically the big daddy of legendary hand cannons right now. If you know about Spare Rations, the gun that's kind of dominated the hand cannon meta for many seasons, for very long. I mean, this is the replacement. Dire Promise is so close to an exact replacement that it's kind of funny that they repurposed Dire Promise last season, in season 10. Stats are so similar that every Spare Rations user picks up Dire Promise, and they're pretty much perfectly fine with it, I think. There's really no reason to complain. You can get some good perk combos. So the way to get Dire Promise, it's unfortunately a world drop. That means you can only get it out of legendary engram drops, whether that's Pinnacle, Powerful, or any like Crucible or Strike rewards. It can drop anywhere in the whole Destiny world as a legendary drop. So it's unfortunately kind of difficult to farm exactly for. Like, you're going to get them just by playing the game, and that's your best bet. So unfortunately, it's such a good gun that you can't farm for it. It makes it a little frustrating, but you have enough other stuff to do if you're a new player that you shouldn't stress too much about getting this. It's only a matter of time until you get it. Your luck can't be worse than mine. I got probably 4, 5, or 6 terrible rolls over and over and over. It was like the same roll every time. So speaking of rolls, let's look at the perks here. Your perk combinations, you see there's plenty of different perk combinations. Here you can get high caliber or armor piercing or ricochet rounds for the second column. Those are all really great second column perks for hand cannons. Third column, you can get opening shot, which is pretty good for PvP. It makes the first shot of an engagement pretty nice. You get snapshot sights also for PvP. That's okay. It's not my favorite, and really you don't really need it for this gun. You aim down sights fast enough, and with different exotics or mods, you can easily achieve better than that for, you know, the benefit of getting a different perk in that column. My favorite, personally, the Dire Promise that I run from now on, ever since I got it, is Overflow Swashbuckler. Swashbuckler is almost the only perk you want in the fourth column. Elemental Capacitor is okay. It goes against the kind of common knowledge of having a damage perk in the fourth column, but it does sometimes give you some decent boosts to handling, reload speed, or stability. And those can actually be kind of useful in PvP, depending on what subclass you run. Some people also like Rangefinder to give more range to the gun. It's, you know, the more range you have, the safer you can be in your engagements, and you can kind of catch people off guard with how far away you fight them. It's not personally my favorite, just because you're missing out on either damage with Swashbuckler or some different kind of quality of life stat boosts with Elemental Capacitor. The remaining 2 perks aren't very good, in my opinion. It's really all you want to get is Swashbuckler or Elemental Capacitor. My favorite is Swashbuckler, and you're going to be set with a really good gun in PvP and PvE. Just to give you some context, in PvP, this is the #1 legendary hand cannon in like high tier PvP. I'm talking Trials of Osiris and all the comp game modes. If people are using Spare Rations still, but it's the last season you can use it, and I'm sure as soon as the next season starts, everyone's using Dire Promise. This is, you know, if you're a PvP player, this is the hand cannon to get, and they're all on meta. It's 150 rounds, good perk combos. You really can't go wrong. This is a gun you're gonna want. It's a world drop, so as you're leveling up, as you're doing new activities, you just have a chance to get it all the time. So best of luck for that. We'll move on to the next gun. Alright, so our third legendary hand cannon is going to be the Ikelos hand cannon version 1.0.2. This is a remake of the version 1.01, originally dropped from Escalation Protocol. Now this hand cannon only drops from the new Prophecy Dungeon. Came out with Season of Arrivals. It's decent. It's a 180 round per minute hand cannon. And they're really kind of lacking right now, but this is probably going to be your best 180 that you can get. I won't talk too much about it because, again, it's just off meta. It's not amazing. It's good. It's okay, and you can only get it in the Prophecy Dungeon, which, again, if you're leveling up, you're probably going to be doing the Prophecy Dungeon. It's a great way to level up and get good gear. Unfortunately, the Prophecy Dungeon is going to be leaving after Season 11 and during Beyond Light, and then coming back in an unknown time in the future. So if you're a completionist in any way, or you just want to get this gun and try it out, you're going to have to do it in Season 11 unless you want to wait for who knows how long. It's not terrible. Again, we're going to look at the perks here. The perks are kind of what save it here. A perk combo that I like is Substance Rampage. They kind of work really well together. Substance, where you get a kill and you get some ammo back in your magazine. Rampage, if you get a kill, you do more damage. So they kind of work really well off of each other. Getting a kill gives you ammo, and if you get a kill, you do more damage. So then getting the next kill is a little bit easier, so you get more ammo. Then the next kill is a little easier, so you get more ammo. So you can see what I'm saying. That's a pretty good relationship that you can get there with those 2 perks. Looking at the rest of them, they're really not amazing. Triple tap, those aren't really amazing perks for a hand cannon. Threat detector is okay, mostly in PvP for movement speed, but if you're using a 180 in PvP, you're doing something wrong, probably. So that's all I got to say about this gun. It's, again, not amazing. You'll probably end up getting it because you're hunting to level up your gear, but it's nothing to go crazy about farming for. All right, and finally our last legendary hand cannon that is worth talking about. Again, this isn't a exhaustive list. This is just kind of the top guns that you probably want to get during season 11. Nation of Beasts, the legendary hand cannon from the Last Wish raid. If you're not on level with the raid, if you're not ready to do it, there's ways to farm this every week. Look up Last Wish free raid chest guides, or some combination of those words. You'll find videos about how to run wishes and get free chests. This is a pretty good gun. It's got some decent perk combos, and again, it's a gun that's going to last you for many seasons. Anything from the Last Wish raid is going to last you past Beyond Light and a few more seasons, just like Garden of Salvation. It's a 140 hand cannon, so it's close to on meta with the 150s. It's got good bounce direction with vertical, and then so it's not amazing perks, but again, they're okay for PvE mostly, and it's a pretty free gun to farm. Farm it by being low light, and you don't have to fight any enemies, you just have to jump around a bit. So Outlaw Kill Clip or Outlaw Rampage is probably your best bet here. It's, again, that's the easy combo that is pretty much sought after. In most cases, it's a reload perk and damage perk. You reload faster, you can do more damage. You do more damage, you reload faster. Those kind of perk combos give you the best DPS you can have. No crazy perks, so there's not much else to talk about for this gun other than, you know, go ahead and get it. You're probably just going to get it by playing the game if you're a new player. Again, I've said it so many times, you're leveling up, you're planning on leveling up, so you're going to be doing the raids. Chances are you'll get this gun eventually. So hopefully you get a good perk combo and you can try it out. We're going to jump into the exotics. Okay guys, we're going to start off the list by looking at the exotics in the hand cannon category. These are going to be whether they're world drops, or they have an exotic questline with them. These are going to be some of the more difficult, possibly more difficult hand cannons to get. Some of these, their quests are up in the air if they're going to be transferred over to Beyond Light somehow. So you should probably prioritize some of these more than others when you try and get them. One of those guns is Thorn. If you're a Destiny veteran in any way, whether you've been from Destiny 1 from the start or the beginning of Destiny 2, you'll probably know this gun. It's almost exactly the same as it always has been. It does damage over time with Mark of the Devourer. Rounds pierce targets, deal damage over time. Kills with this weapon leave behind remnants. This is the new part. Those remnants you can pick up with the Soul Devourer perk, which partially refills the magazine and basically just improves Mark of the Devourer, so you're gonna do more damage over time. I believe parts of this quest line involve steps that are on things that are disappearing in Beyond Light. I might be wrong, but regardless, this is a great gun. If you're a new player, you want to pick this up. If you're returning, I mean, this gun is good in PvP, PvE as well. This gun is useful in PvP and PvE. It's more widely used in PvP. In PvE, it's still very useful, but it's not really, it doesn't transfer very well into the end game content. You can just use your exotic slot more wisely. But yeah, it's a 150 round hand cannon that fits the meta that we're in right now, the hand cannon meta at least. 150s are really good. Handling really good, impact very good, range pretty good. All around, it's just, even if it didn't have the exotic perks, the archetype and the stats of it would make it a good gun. But then you add on damage over time, which I could be shooting myself in the foot, but I think this is the only damage over time hand cannon, maybe even primary, which, you know, makes it important in its own right there. And yeah, that's Thorn. Go and get it. Look up a quest guide if you don't know how to get it already. So this is Ace of Spades. It's part of the Forsaken DLC. Another exotic hand cannon that's very good. Destiny 2 players that played in the very beginning during Forsaken, you'll remember this gun being incredibly good. But it's since been nerfed just slightly. It's still very useful. While I was getting clips for this video, I used this gun after not using it for so long, as you can see by the power level I have on it, and it's just as satisfying as it used to be. So you have Firefly as its special perk. Precision kills with this weapon increase reload speed and cause the target to explode, dealing solar damage to nearby enemies. Memento Mori is the intrinsic trait for the exotic. Reloading after kill loads the magazine with a few extra damage bullets, grants radar while aiming down sights. As you can see in PvP, those few extra damage bullets are really good. I believe you get 6 shots every Guardian kill in PvP. That's enough to more than kill 2 people, I believe. This gun it's still incredible in PvP, and it's pretty useful in PvE as well. You know, getting high damage shots with a better Firefly. Firefly is a great crowd control perk. So this is a 140 rounds per minute hand cannon with high impact, high range. 150 is the meta, but 140 is still usable. And then you put on the intrinsic perk and these high impact, high range stats, and it makes up for the slightly slower rate of fire. This is something you want to pick up this season. There's not exactly much going on this season, so this is a great way to spend your time, and it'll be useful. All right, guys, the third exotic hand cannon of the video is The Last Word. This is your Wild West cowboy kind of gun. Truthfully, I never really used this gun all that much. Its whole playstyle is based around hipfire. As you see with the fanfare, this weapon fires full auto. Hipfire shots deal bonus precision damage while increasing reload speed and accuracy. So I never really liked the feel of the hipfire kind of only playstyle. It did recently get a buff. The hipfire recently got a buff. If you're a console player, this gun, I have been hearing that it's a monster in Crucible. With the slight aim assist and the hipfire, it really makes it pretty nuts. On PC, it's not as useful because the aim assist doesn't help the hipfire as much, and there's just a little bit better options to go with. The more classic hand cannons, they just kill a little bit faster. You see its special perk here is hipfire grip, increase accuracy, stability, and precision hit targeting when firing from the hip. Then you see its rounds per minute is very high. Like it's said, it can be fired full auto. It's fired as fast as you can click, not like full auto like an auto rifle. You see incredibly high reload speed, pretty high impact. This gun can be good, and when I was filming clips for this video, if you can get close enough, get a little bit of luck to hit your hipfire shots, it melts pretty quick. So it's another gun to get that'd be useful. I believe it's a exotic quest. Honestly, I can't remember, but you can look up guides. Again, it came out a while ago. There's probably hundreds of guides on how to get this gun. This video isn't a gun guide or exotic quest guide. This is just kind of an alert to say, hey, if you're new, if you're returning after a while, you saw Beyond Light and the new seasons, it's gonna last you forever, so it's worthwhile to get these exotics. All right, guys, the last exotic hand cannon of the list is gonna be Sunshot. Now this is much more of a PvE weapon than PvP, but I'm not saying that is not good in PvP, because this thing is still pretty good. I believe it came out with the game. I think it's a world drop right now. So this is kind of just play the game, you'll get it eventually, and then try it out when you get it. We're gonna look at the intrinsic trait here, Sunburn. This weapon fires explosive rounds and highlights targets that take damage from Sunshot. So that sounds kind of underwhelming right there, but it's this perk, Sunblast. Targets killed with Sunshot explode in solar energy. This thing is actually one of the best ad clear weapons in the game. So it's definitely, again, it's not a quest that you can necessarily grind for, but it's a gun that you'll just get eventually through playing the game and picking up exotic engrams. In the stats here, the archetype, it's a 150. Again, 150 rounds per minute is the desired archetype for hand cannons right now in the meta. It has been for quite a long time. high handling, high impact, high reload speed. Those are all pretty good, and kind of medium range and stability. And this thing is pretty good for PvE. That's where it really shines. I do know in PvP it's also pretty good. When you get shot with this gun, it's pretty kind of like staggering for your character. You kind of shake a lot when you get hit with it. I just played against someone with it in trials, and it was pretty frustrating to be getting shot by it. See, hopefully you guys get it, and then check it out because it's pretty good. Run it in some strikes and things.